I'm Stephanie Mullins, and I'm a kindergarten teacher at Southside Elementary. And we began our unit of study with weather by showing the kids a clip of Chief Meteorologist, jump ahead, Shane Smith. I let them watch him doing a forecast, and then I paused the video and we set up a QFT, which is a question formulation technique, which all the children have to ask a question. What would you like to ask this man that you just saw on the video? Because they had no idea who he was. They didn't know he was coming to visit our school in the next couple of weeks. And so everybody had to give me some input, and we collected that, the questions that the children generated. And some of the questions they came up with was, what's the weather going to be today? What's it like to be on the news? How do you know what tomorrow's weather is going to be? Do you have an audience? And when is it going to snow? And a lot of the teachers wanted to know the answer to that too, because this was around December. And then Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith from WYMT came to our school in December, and he did a weather class with all the kindergarten classes. And all the kindergarten classes also participated in the QFT. So not only my class, but the two other classes all had a big list of questions for the meteorologist when he came. He read a story to our kindergarten. He explained the different types of weather that we encounter in Kentucky, and explained what it was to be a meteorologist, the background he had, how he had to go to school, and how important it was to be in school. And then we let the kids ask their QFT questions, but they knew uphand, first thing, if he had already answered it, they couldn't ask it because we weren't going to repeat, because we already had the answer to that question. So we got to pass the mic, and the kids were okay with that, because you could see if he answered the question that was their QFT, they were like, that's fine, so we just marked it off the list. And he was very impressed that the kids stayed on task and on focus, and all their questions was about weather and why he was there, because usually when you have a guest speaker, it's, do you have a cat? Do you like green? Do you eat suckers? They don't stay on focus, and they were that day, and it really worked really well. And that afternoon, we made the news, the kindergarten class, and he's been great, by the way. I know he's now left WYMT, but he stayed in contact with my kindergarten class, and he sent out tweets about our class. He was like, could you send us some pictures? What are you doing today, Miss Mullins? What's your kindergarten class learning? And we would send him pictures, and he would send out tweets and things like that about our class. So he's been absolutely wonderful for us. Next, you can see I have two of my students here. After Chris came to Chris also works with us. But Shane came to the school, we started using an Accurate weather system that I ordered with my grant. That's on the right. It has a thermometer that you mount outside the classroom, outdoors, and it tells the kids like up to the minute what the temperature is outdoors, and it did an indoor temp, which I noticed my kids, once they got really good with number recognition, they were like, oh, it's getting warmer outside, Miss Mullins. We may get to go outside today. Or you're freezing me to death inside. It's only 69. Could you turn the heat on? So I noticed they were really using that every day. And also on the left, you'll see the mini iPad that we also purchased with our grant. And the kids use that to look up weather forecasts for the next day. We also recorded and graphed the weather daily. They kept a chart, and they compared their data from month to month. And you can see, like in December, I know some of my kids were like, it's really warm in December. And in January, it started getting colder. And they started making those comparisons. And I've noticed lately, they're like, it's getting warmer, everything's changing. So they're able to take that data and compare. And one of our goals was to use the data we're collecting and share it with the school. Our school has a morning program called WKID that comes on first thing every morning, tells the school, like what's for lunch, what's going on for that day. I asked, could my children be meteorologists? Could they give a forecast? And they were really welcoming to that, and the kids started in January, and they've done an awesome job. And I've got a couple clips I wanted to share. Take my mic off so you can hear. Yep. Here we go. I don't know if it's going to load. Just click on this. I go to... Just like it's already played. You can throw that.
I'm meteorologist Isaac, and today weather is sunny and 55 degrees. For lunch
Here's some more cuteness. We get to play. trouble with the play button. It's showing, but it's not. What's going on?
Aquí en meteorologist Mullins report today's weather is sunny and 76 degrees. For lunch today we'll be having crispy chicken.
And one more. Okay, I know he clicked something down here. Oops. Can I go back? I jumped a slide. Can I go back to the one before?
Just hit the back button.
Okay.
There you go.
Somehow I missed Alton here. Gotta know Alton.
Today's weather is snowy and 43 degrees.
And the way we chose who our meteorologist was whoever the leader was the day before. They filled out the paperwork, they took the iPad, and they recorded what the temperature was going to be for the next day, and they took it home, a little script to practice at home with their parents. So I got the parents involved also. But with the grant, I was also able to purchase a lot of reading materials, group sets that I could use in my center to read with my kids, and they could use in a reading center also. And I found that they just loved those information books. And I found when they had free time, they were up on the rug and they were in the weather books and they were wanting to read together. So they really enjoyed those. The main problem that focused around my grant was when the kids would go outside, I noticed they want to come in on hot sunny days. They were like, it's too hot out here, can we go in? And I said, we have a problem. What is our problem, And they said, well, it's too hot. I said, let's try to solve the problem. They said, well, we need something to block the sun out here. We need trees, we need to cover our head, we need something to get under. And the more they talked about it, they came to the conclusion on their own that they needed something for shade. And that's one of our standards with the Next Generation Science Standards. We read this years ago. We were like, this is insane. Kids cannot construct things to help them shade from the sun. But I thought I would try to tackle that with my class and with this money from the grant. So now that we established that the problem was shade, I gave my students a variety of materials to test to help to protect from the sun. They had a cotton cloth sample, clear plastic, yellow plastic, which was a thicker grade. They had foil and wax paper. And I bought a special sun-sensitive paper that when it was exposed to direct sunlight, it would change colors. So the kids got into 5 different groups, and I let them to select the group. I picked a leader for the 5 groups. They recruited their own children for each group. They had a tray with the 5 materials and their sun-sensitive paper. We went outside on a sunny day, and within 5 minutes, the paper started to change colors. But they didn't know what the results were until we came back into the classroom. When we came in and they moved those materials, they could tell that the foil and the yellow plastic, which was thicker, provided the best protection from the sun, and the cotton cloth provided a little protection, and the wax and the clear plastic did not provide any protection from the sun. So in the group, they ranked their findings. They had a little ranking chart from good, okay, do not use, and they decided which material they wanted to use when we built our structure to protect us from the sun, which one they wanted to use. And most of them went with the yellow plastic or the foil. So then we got to design and construct structures to protect us from the sun. They all had connectors and tubes. They had the same material, but they had the creative freedom to come up with their own designs. I have some pictures here. Some of them wanted to do like houses. Some of them wanted to do towers. They had the freedom to do whatever they wanted. Now, on the left, you'll see this child. I did not help them cover their structure. They had to come up with it on their own. A lot of them used tape, but the one on the left used foil. The one on the right used the yellow plastic covering. And then we decided to test our designs. They used the flashlight test first. We brought down the lights in the classroom to see if the light would penetrate their designs. And they were both good coverings. Both of those were foil. And then we moved outside. We waited for a nice sunny day. We took our thermometers out, and the children tested underneath the structures and outside the structures to compare the temperatures. And they found that it was cooler under their structures, and that shade did make a difference. Okay, in conclusion, it's been a wonderful experience for my students. They've learned a lot about weather and engineering and design, and our media specialist has asked us to continue this next year and be meteorologist on the morning program because she said everybody loved the kid meteorologist this year. That's it.